left behind. Nowhere to go but I'll find. Just as a trail will wind, drifting along with the tumbling tumbleweed. I know when night has gone that a new world's born at dawn. I'll keep rolling along.
What's the guy? Really embarrassing. Who's the bowler?
Oh.
Doesn't he die?
Jesus,
No,
they're all bowlers.
no, the person who plays Sully.
Donnie.
Is that his name?
Do you mean
John Goodman.
That's it, John Goodman. Yeah, like
Walter.
yeah, like I just the scene when he pulls the gun out in the bowling alley. It's like, am I the only one taking this serious?
Am
I wrong?
You're over the line.
Am I wrong?
You pull that shit on me? You pull your piece out on the lane?
I'll take it away from you and stick it up your ass and pull the fucking trigger till it goes click.
On the rewatch, one of my favourite little speeches of his I didn't even really think about is after the dude, he mentions it about the Germans are after him or something. And he's like, oh, they've always been the same fucking Nazis. and then the dude says something about no, one of them said that they're nihilists. Yeah. And he just fucking he just can't believe it. He starts looking he's like, say what you will about the tenets of National Socialism, at least it's an ethos. And he just can't comprehend these nihilists.
I watched Oh Brother Where Art Thou last month. Another Coen. No, it's another Coen Brothers one. No,
That's it.
it's good. Basically, it's John Turturro. It's him, George Clooney, and the other guy. Don't know his name. He's in Holes. He's the counsellor guy in Holes.
I
haven't
Holes
seen
so
Him.
long ago.
It's set in the 20s or something. It's basically the Iliad by what's his name? Greek.
Homer.
You're doing a great job of this. You're doing just add to that. You're a really good job, mate.
Basically, it's these guys who escape from prison and they go on this crazy journey, and it's basically a retelling of the Iliad or the Odyssey. I think it's the Odyssey.
Just sterling.
It's good. It's good. I thought
He's trying to come across as all well read.
Yeah, trying to really compose yourself well. Just fuck off.
No, I brought it up because I thought whenever you had seen it that we could have more laughs, but clearly not. And then that left me in the position where I've got to explain what the fucking film is.
Well, why didn't you say something do you care, or do you want us to explain it? And be like, nah,
let's
not
make that
really.
let's make that a thing then. Do you care? And then you go,
Do you not
no.
say that all the time? I have this thing with Izzy when you say something and you got and then someone goes, excuse me, and you're like, no, don't worry, and they make you go no, say it, and you're like, honestly, it didn't matter, and no, go on, say it, and then you end up saying it, and it's like, yeah, it didn't matter. Trust me when I said it.
And you get frustrated even to the fact that you've got to put it into words.
Yeah, this whole thing
it wasn't
words.
I didn't want to construct this sentence. It was nothing. It was just.
Now when someone says don't worry about it, honestly, just don't worry. They've said it, just leave it. It's done.
It's a good point.
Don't worry.
I like that.
Just take their word for it. They're the person who said it. They know it doesn't matter. If it was an insult or something, and then you're like, excuse me? I can understand that. Repeat yourself.
It is one of my favourite things to say about excuse me.
Excuse me?
Excuse me? Furrowed brow and shit.
Oh. Did you guys watch Only Connect?
Excuse me?
Me and Izzy have been watching Only Connect every time. Game show with Victoria.
Is it Connect 4?
No,
is it Connect 4?
Not Connect 4.
What's that one? It is basically not Connect 4. Oh no, they had. What's the one? It's it's like the penny arcade
tipping point.
Tipping point.
Tippy point.
Fuck me, that show.
It's awful, man.
It's garbage, isn't it?
Do any guys keep watching The Chase? Did you give
I watched about 5 minutes of it before you arrived, actually.
Yeah, I love The Chase so much.
Why?
I love The Chase.
What is this is something that you and Luke.
Fuck it. It's just disgusting.
You, Luke, and maybe even you, Dylan, really enjoy game shows, and I think there's something wrong with your brain.
The game show's
What's
fun.
wrong? What are you talking about? All game shows or just quiz shows?
Pretty much all of them.
Well, only connects.
Oh no, there's one I like Catchphrase.
Catchphrase is fantastic. I love Catchphrase.
That was shit.
I love Catchphrase. I like the old Catchphrase. I don't like the new one. Like, who's the guy who did it?
Is it Roy Walker?
Yeah, is that him?
No, he's on.
No, is it
the
Bob?
Irish
Is
fella?
it-
Yeah.
What's his name?
Yeah, it is Roy.
It is
Walker.
Roy Walker, isn't it?
Yeah, and then they replaced him with like Stephen Mulhern.
Yeah,
or
fuck
whatever.
that guy.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
garbage.
no.
Right. He
And
was
like-
just say shit like that.
Honestly, I started doing like an edit of one of the episodes to try and make it into some fucking nightmare. I might show you some later. I didn't get very far, but like...
You're not right, Nick. Sally's back in play. Here's a catchphrase. We ran it on the bell, Nick. I can laugh. But no, not really. What is it?
Sweater.
Sally, you're back in play. He's not right. Here's a catchphrase. We're taking out the bell. It's in the ready money round.
But like, I came across it on that challenge or whatever, like, on a TV show, on the TV channel. And then I found that they're all on YouTube, all the old ones. And for some reason I really like it, because it's very visual. Like, shit about like general trivia just makes me like not want to live. Hearing someone like say what the most populous country in Africa is or whatever, it just means nothing
Do
to
you
me.
like Pointless?
No.
Oh, this is so
That is the most
awkward. Pointless. Someone pointed it out to me. I can't remember who it was, and now I can't watch Pointless anymore. They said like count each episode. The most enjoyable thing about Pointless is count how many awkward silences there are. And
It might have been me. I don't know. I'm definitely not the only person to have this thought, but like, it's so bad. When they ask them like the what they do for a job or whatever. Like when Alexander Armstrong and they tell him, and he's like, he has nothing to say back. He's like, right, yeah, maybe make a joke, but mostly it's just like excellent. And then he just moves on, and there's this little like one beat of just like what the fuck is this? Like,
The only thing I'm thinking of when I'm watching him on Pointless is fucking Armstrong and Miller show.
I think it's a sketch.
That short-lived sketch show he did with Ben Miller.
It's so good. It's so good. I can't lie.
How
it
can you go-
wasn't even short-lived,
I
was it?
swear it was
They did a good few series, didn't they? Did
Armstrong and Miller. They did so much. Yeah, they did like I remember like 3. Maybe they did more.
They did a few.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Anyway.
So many good series, man. Like,
But how can he go from that doing all the
Why is he
filthy,
doing-
dirty jokes and things, and then to watered down?
he feels like he's
Tea
playing a
time
character
games.
though.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
like he is a
does,
presenter, so it makes sense. But like, it feels like he's just gonna something funny's gonna happen. The audience is gonna start laughing. But it's
Is he
shit.
lame? Is Alexander Armstrong lame?
As a person?
Yeah. Is he lame?
No, he's just not.
What
good
about his
thinking
music
on his
career?
feet.
What about his music career?
I haven't
He's,
seen.
he's not got a music career, has he?
Yeah.
No, he's not.
He's
Like,
got a music career. He does like Christmas albums and shit.
have you heard of this before? Like,
I've heard of it. I don't think I've heard much of the music.
When you hear it, then come back to me and say yes, he's lame, or no, he's not.
I mean, it is great when celebrities do have a music career. My favourite being William Shatner. Dylan, you can attest to that. Have you heard any of it? Oh, it's beautiful. He does like covers of like a Space Odyssey by
Sure.
David Bowie.
yeah.
But he does them in what would you call his style?
Spoken word.
It's like spoken words, kind of jazzy.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know how you'd say, sort of club singer, but he's not singing. He's always got a cigarette in his hand. He's reciting lyrics to, pop songs.
I only know
70s.
Bradley Walsh. Like he has a singing career, doesn't he? He does like
Yeah,
he does like
sing
what does he do? He does like Frank Sinatra.
Who's Bradley Wolf?
from the
The
Chase.
Chase,
mate,
the
your
presenter of
favourite.
the Chase. We've been on this. Like,
I didn't know that's his name. And
the Doctor Who companion.
he's another reason I don't like that show, because he's so fucking boring.
I don't know. I like. Well, I've watched it quite a bit. I really like the producers' dynamic with Bradley. Like the people who sort of run the show behind the
They
scenes.
say
And they're-
things into his ear.
Yes, they say things into his ear, and some of the
Kissing
questions are 100% designed to target Bradley. So they'll put questions up there that are obviously the contestants and the chaser have to answer the question that are designed to make Bradley laugh. They attempt to break him from time to time.
Okay.
That's when you get them
Kind of meta
compilations.
thing about it.
Yeah, like it's a thing. He's been on like this morning, and he's been on.
You got to do
interviews and
something,
that.
haven't you?
Oh, I
You
mean,
got to do something.
gotta keep
It's just
himself
another quiz. That's why Pointless actually sort of succeeded, didn't it?
a little bit different.
Because it had a bit of a dynamic between the two. Oh, and why fucking Deal or No Deal? Because it's like
That is the worst thing.
who is the banker? You know, you can imagine the banker, like what he's
Fucking
saying,
Noel
and
Edmonds.
Noel was like on. Oh.
Is there actually someone on the end of the phone? Do you know?
Yeah.
There is actually,
It's
but he's
the
the
producer,
person
it's the
like,
producer.
Wagwan, how you doing, mate? And then Bradley's in, and he's just got to make Noel's got to make up some sort of response to it as if he's acting, or if they actually talking, they're going, "Oh, I'm going to give him
I
5,000."
don't think you could fake that after all them episodes. Like he's not.
Yeah,
Noel
he's
wasn't just coming up with
definitely-
numbers in his head.
He's
Like,
definitely
there's someone else. He's got to think about presenting, you know, and just trying to fill air.
So they're actually doing it. Like there's actually
Yeah,
someone.
there is a guy. I think Richard Osmond or someone was saying about that. Like they know who the banker is. It's like one, like, who is the Stig or whatever, and then people just find out. It becomes boring, doesn't it? But
I love it when they get stuff wrong. when
Deal
stuff
or No
malfunctions.
Deal is just the most waste of time thing I've ever seen in my life.
Noel Edmonds is essentially talentless.
No skill.
So I don't know how he's managed to continue a career
What
on
a statement.
internet.
Like, I don't
Completely
know.
talented.
I don't know how you could break it down mathematically, but like there is no skill. Like the only decision you have is when to quit. Like you can't prepare for it. You can't do anything. It's random. Like
But the thing is you can negate the entire purpose of the show, the entire thing, because you make your decision of your box up front. So if you just go, I am going to take my box, you just pick all the numbers, I don't care what I get to, and then when it comes to the final thing, no, I'll take the ones in my box, and you just go there. Done. Like,
this is 10p.
but then you get 10p, but it's like when you pick your box at the beginning of the show, you stick
Do you
with
think
your
they
box.
tax them?
What, on the money they win?
No.
Oh no! Well, everything gets taxed, but I guess you have to reach a threshold before something gets taxed, doesn't it? Like if they had 10p, they're not gonna
Yeah, I don't.
only get 7 because like.
I don't think game show winnings get taxed.
What the
They do.
They do.
Funny you should
They
say
do.
that, because I never thought they got taxed, but then I watched X Factor once, or maybe Britain's Got Talent, and the guy was like, this week, like comes up, he was like 10,000 tax-free US dollars, or like pounds, and I was like, why have you mentioned it's tax-free? For some reason it really did my ear.
It
It's like,
sounds like a scam.
it 100% does. Tax-free. It's like you feel like you're actually scamming someone out of this money. But it sort of clicked to me, like, surely other things they must be taxed.
So that's something we have QVC or something. With the numbers at the side. Yeah, that's showing.
100% though, it is tax free. Like they mentioned it, so it makes me think if you win $250,000 on Deal or No Deal, that is the max you can win, isn't it?
$250,000, yeah.
How much are you getting taxed on that? Like, is it 20%? Like,
Oh, I never thought about that.
because you earn
completely
it,
ruins
but then
it,
you earn
yeah.
your daily wage. Don't you, I guess?
Back to Pointless just for a moment. On the money front, the money they win is so shit that
It's 1,000, isn't it?
yeah, and it like rolls over if no one wins it. But like,
So
it's such a shite amount of money that like, what's the point? You know.
Well, they do it for the prestige, don't they? You know, I've been on telly. You know, people at work.
Wasn't Zach on Pointless?
But it seems pathetic.
Oh, he
doesn't it?
was. Yeah, someone we know was on a bonus. Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah, someone we know. Like, I never actually watched it. Did you watch it?
I think I saw clips of it. I mean, someone I know applied to go on Pointless. Jack Darnley.
No, he didn't.
He applied to go on Pointless. I said I'd go. I said if he got on, I'd go on with him. I don't think he got on at all.
I don't know why you had to whisper that. Like, it was an embarrassment. You don't get on. If he went on and did shit, then maybe.
I think I'd be really embarrassed if I went on Pointless.
Why?
I don't know. I think
I could have gone to one of the screenings of it actually.
I'd be embarrassed to go to a
Be
screening.
part
Yeah, why waste your time?
Silences.
You're going to potentially win 1,000 at the minimum. You can't really be embarrassed at that. It's like if you succeed, it's like, who's the joke now? Like, I've walked away with £1,000,
Yeah.
like, or more.
There's like a website that I guess it's a BBC program, isn't it? Pointless. That they use to find their audiences, and you can sign up for it, and they like email you out like if there's something available for like a show. And for some reason, I applied for Pointless because I thought maybe my mum would want to see it or something. And I actually got a ticket, and then I asked my mum if she wanted to go, and she was like, "No,
It's not worth it.
so I don't want to go. I don't want to go up to like Manchester, or wherever the fuck it is."
I ain't saying I'm Jesus, but he probably looked like me. Do you remember when Kerry Katona went on this morning? He was drunk.
No, I did not know this. No.
That's come out of left field, but yes, I do.
It's just talking about the internet. I was like, that moment is forever immortalised on the internet, on YouTube.
We can go back even
We can
further.
watch that right now.
We can go to James Brown on cocaine and see.
That interview was a bomb. Like, what
It's
was
a
that?
man's world.
Yes, it is.
I look good. I smell good. I feel good.
And you sing good.
And make love good.
No, so many shitty interviews. What was the one? I was watching an interview. I can't remember who it was. I was listening to one where the host was making a comment on white privilege, I think, and they didn't realise that the person they were talking to was black. But they were saying it. I can't remember who the person they were talking to.
Yeah.
Well, they're accusing them of it.
Yeah, they were accused of white privilege. He was like, and then the person, before he announced he was black, he was like, "You clearly have not done your research." Like, I'm black. And he's like, "I'm sorry, excuse me." It was like a TV host or something. Loved it. Like,
Was it like a broadcast news thing?
It's like an American news show or something.
they're doing it like the presenters being deliberately provocative and just trying like Piers Morgan sort of thing, like trying to get a thing, and then this person's just like, yeah, your point's just invalid.
It's gonna
like,
die, and
What?
it's already dying, and I'm so happy about it.
What, being a provocateur?
No, broadcast media, like standard media, new media is the thing.
To the BBC, like they put up something the other day about like people arguing to get them defunded now.
Really?
Because I know the argument comes up quite a bit about the TV license and that, but like with all the stuff that's happened and their broadcasting, I think it's really coming out that they actually swing very far on one side of the political spectrum. When their whole the thing is you take something like LBC, they claim to be like they can say I'm far left or I'm far right or X, Y, what they want to do, but the BBC state that they are sitting between, they are impartial. They're an impartial broadcaster.
The new centre is slightly left, you see, in the last.
But that's not really how it should
So
be.
what have the
should
BBC
it?
been? They've been accused of being what, too left wing?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
Or no, having a political agenda. For example, it came out that like there was during one of the protests, they cropped out a weapon that was being a bat or something that was being brought down an officer.
Okay.
They took the picture and the bat is cropped out for the BBC article, which they put up doing it. And it's like when people found the original photo, it was identical, but there was a bat in there, and there was so much scrutiny on them because it's like that is a political agenda. You've taken that out.
But
with
it's
a purpose.
not necessarily. This is the thing. Like,
Why has it been taken out?
like Occam's razor wise, it's not necessarily the case. Like, and that annoys me. There was something they showed us at university. I don't know why the fuck they were showing something about how images can be manipulated or something. But like they presented this image.
Do you mind if we turn the light on?
Yeah, he's trying to tell you he's fucking not.
That's your cue.
in what you
No,
have
keep
to
going. Like,
Yeah, so the story I sent you and Callum called "Learn to Breathe Fire in the Maze." It's set at like some festival thing going on, like a day festival, and there's like steamboats.
Speak up.
come on in the back.
I don't need to be. There's like steamboats and there's like a fire breather's tent and all this, and it's basically just like this husband and wife. You know, sort of hints that they're probably in the throes of a divorce, or they're not really.
Why, when you talk about yourself, do you suddenly mute?
Getting shy.
You're so
aren't I?
quiet.
Getting
Like,
shy,
speak
aren't
up.
I? You're getting all shy. No one likes talking. Like, no one big up.
I love talking about myself.
Yeah,
Talk
no,
up.
you need to, but yeah, well, I won't say it because if you get time, give it a read and tell me if you think I'd appreciate feedback.
We'll publish it with this, shall we?
Shit with this.
Yeah.
No one gives a fuck about my short stories. Who's going to listen to this? Do they?
Mate, no one gives a fuck about this. No one's we get free off a wee bit. Your mum might see it. Has your mum read it?
No.
Have you asked her to
Oh,
read
come
it?
on.
She doesn't.
She's
read. She
bored,
doesn't
and
read.
she's drinking red wine and looking at pictures of dogs.
Do you reckon she'd enjoy it?
She doesn't read. She doesn't read. She doesn't know how to read.
Have you given her
Yeah,
a
no,
chance?
but you made it, so she definitely will.
Well, that's the thing. That's the worst thing to do with any, like, if you're writing or any sort of art or anything, give it to your mum. Of course she's going to fucking love it, because you made it. Oh, this
You're
is the
holding her
best thing in the
conversationally
world.
hostage, but at the end of the day,
Yeah,
she wants
yeah,
to be
that's the
held
thing.
there.
Yeah, but you can get feedback from us, and then you
Yeah.
show your mum.
Yeah.
No?
Well, what did you like about it? Because you said you'd tell me when. I'm interested.
Yeah, I could separate it from the author. A lot of your other short stories are.
It's too obvious that
I can recognise your voice in it. This one wasn't.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
That's got to be good, isn't
You
it?
reckon?
Recognising
I'm
the
sure that
author's voice, it's got to be good.
Yeah, well, I don't know, because I know you. I
guess it's different because you know me. Yeah,
Yeah.
Izzy says when I show Izzy some of my pieces, and she'll say, because she knows me, she'll have a different interpretation of it than what just a random reader might. That's why it's so. That's why you got to think about like.
Is there no forums or something you can put it up on
Well,
and get
that's-
some
I've been
like
looking
just
into
complete honest feedback? Because why would someone on the internet lie?
That's the thing, because a lot of people. I'm sure there are places, and I think you have to pay for some places. But that's why university. I want to go back partly, and why I enjoyed university, because you get that one-to-one time with people who know what they're on about.
Would you trust them? Do you trust the lecturer? Because I wouldn't necessarily.
Well, I do.
I would trust someone on the internet that doesn't know me because they've got no reason to lie. Like if you're getting 50 people's feedback, random people, it's like they're not going to lie about it, are they?
True.
Why would you don't give a shit? Like
That is true.
you're on there because you actually care about trying to make people like
Yeah.
get better at what they do,
That's a good point.
and they might take inspiration off your work as well, which is one of the reasons they read it.
Yeah, it's the danger and of putting any creative output out there in it.
We've
I
got
don't
to
think
do
you would. I think it's a really good story.
I've submitted it to
I
one
can,
place at the moment in it as it is, just because this place, I know that they've been, their reputation is that they'll give people feedback if the story is like a close, maybe we'll take it. So if they say we won't take it, but it was close, the editors will say why they didn't take it, but what they liked.
What and
Which
they,
at this point, I want that more than I want it to be accepted. I want.
can you imagine if every place you submitted it to was just like great, yeah, great?
Yeah, that's
That'd be
what I mean.
crap. It's like, well, how am I going to get better?
I want these people who are writers to say it's not quite there yet, but we recognise that you probably you're all right, you're quite good. You just need to keep practicing. I want something like that. I think more than I want just publish it and not say anything. I think that will help me grow more as a writer.
You're 24. Like, how can
then
you know
just-
anything about writing? Like,
That's
you're
the thing.
learning still.
Yeah,
You're in the baby
yeah.
steps of it, aren't you?
And
You've
then
got
think
so
about
much to
people
learn.
who are like fucking David Foster Wallace.
And how many of them are there?
Published his first novel at 25.
I didn't know that.
The
But
man's
how
genius.
many of them are there?
Yeah, I know.
The point is like, you get all these stories about people who they've been interested in football since they were 4 years old, and I'm 6, and if I didn't start at 4, then I'm never going to be as good. It's just not the case. Some people are just a cut above the rest, and they're just going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And some people have to work extremely hard to get to the same. Don't get me wrong. Who's this person? Sorry, the person you referred to who wrote his first novel at 25.
Oh, I think it's David Foster Wallace. I think it was about 25.
Yeah, like, do you think they worked hard still, or they did?
Yeah.
I bet they lived and
He's
breathed.
naturally a genius.
Yeah, that's probably the big difference, isn't it? Like,
Infinite Jest is an encyclopedic fucking novel with all this
Yeah,
postmodern
I've seen it.
bollocks. And, well, not bollocks, but yeah.
can you imagine if his was the only work? You need other work.
Yeah,
You
of
need
course,
people
of
who
course.
tried their whole life. People who
Of
start
course.
publishing at 50 because it's taken
Well,
them
yeah,
40 years or 30 years
I
to
don't know if you
learn
guys
shit.
have this, but you think like, how old are we all? 24
How old
now?
was George R.R. Martin?
He was in his 60s, wasn't he?
Before,
That's the best, surely.
That's what I mean. Like,
Well, yeah, a lot of people say you
Well,
do your
when
best.
people like don't want to do something because they feel they're like too old for it. It's just fucking rich coming from like people in their 20s.
Well, that's
But
the
I've
thing,
heard this.
isn't it?
I've heard this said by people that are much older than us, and they all like seem to come to the same conclusion. Like, it's never too late for anything, really. People
get better.
people like to fall. Sort of, but your brain's less malleable, all that sort of stuff. Where it's like, I can't learn an instrument because I'm like 34 and I've missed my chance because my brain can't do it, or like I can't learn a language now because I'm too old. It's not necessarily true, and it's just an excuse to not do it.
Yeah.
It's just something you tell yourself, and that's so, it's so unhealthy to just like have a slight interest in something, but want to just come up with any kind of excuse not to do it. It just reinforces that, and it's a kind of laziness of.
Yeah.
Not that I know anything at all, because like I am only 24. Like I always say, like people who are 40, 50, they obviously have a much most of them have a better understanding of the world than I do. But I was talking to like a 50-year-old or somewhere around there that I work with, and I think the retirement age is like 65 or something for males, 67. So it's like he's got like 17 years in front of him of working, and he's been working where I work for a long time. And he was debating to apply for a new position. He said, "Nah, I'm already 50. There's not much I can really do now. Like I may as well just stay where I am." And I'm like, "That's fair enough. If you're going to deliberately put hurdles in your own way, then you may as well just fall over at them. Like you may as well."
You fucking tore a chunk off him.
No. We had a really good. We had like an hour conversation about it, and he ended up coming out of the conversation by saying like, "I'll actually give it some thought as to if I wanted to apply for it." I said, if you're putting hurdles in your way, maybe there's a potential you actually don't want to do this, but you want a better life. You want something better. Yeah, it's that fear of like, I'm never going to be able to do it. And it's like, you can spend, honestly, the next 17 years where you are in your position, and that's fine. No one's going to judge you for that. That's absolutely fine. But if you want something more, go do it. Like, maybe it takes 3 years to do, and you spend 10 years doing it.
You can bring this back to Breaking Bad, funnily enough.
Yeah, alright. Well, since it's what you're watching at the moment, always bringing it back.
You can, though, because look at Walt, man. Look what he gets done in a year. And he turns 50, and then he just decides to, he's an underachiever. He's
it's not the same with everything. Take like League of Legends. You're not going to be able to do that if you pick that up at 50 years old. Your motory skills are just not good enough. Yeah. Your motory skills are just not good enough to be as competitive as someone who's 16 years old. That's just the case. But when you take something like cooking meth, you can do that later on in life. If you want to do it, go do it.
Yeah, he did have the knowledge.
If you want to cook meth, you cook meth, basically.
I don't know. I find this quite interesting because I've had this conversation with my dad because he was part of that generation. I don't think. I mean, there's obviously people going to trades now that are going to have the same kind of experience, but like that generation, I don't know, growing up in the 70s or whatever, like people, there were trades that like out of college, like they would come to you because they wanted you to work for them, like, and you would go into these things, do something like manual and physical, and you specialise in it, and you do that, and then you earn well from it. You earn enough to like get a house and like do everything. My dad. By the time my dad was my age, he had a child and a mortgage. Like I think about that sometimes, but I'm a different sort of person. I don't know. But like he's not happy anymore with like the state of his like career because it's just boring. Because he's done the same thing since he was 16 until he's like 50, whatever he is.
Do you think he's choosing to stay there though?
He has to because he's got bills to pay. No. If you want like a renaissance of your own life and you want to do something different, technically possible, but very risky. And you have to spend your like free time to do it. And like when you're working flat out for the whole week and you've only got the like bit of the weekend to do stuff, like you don't want to do that. You've got other life things you need to do, or you just want to like relax or do something else to actually to change what you're going to do in life. Once you're deep into what you're doing is really difficult, and I don't blame people for like not wanting to do that.
But surely that's
especially as I've not experienced it. I can imagine just what it's going to be like if. I mean, I don't really want to get locked into any career at the moment.
But surely they are satisfied with that then, because you get to a point where, say you're doing the same job for 20, 25 years, you've had a kid's left home, and in the situation your dad's in, he's not happy with his current state of like, I'm just going to go out on a limb, like you said, like of what he's doing with work. But if you have 2 days on the weekend or a few hours on the weekend in which you say like maybe you just want to relax, maybe you just don't want to, that's your free time. If you don't want to spend that free time, because I'm not saying you have to quit your job to do something new, you can do something in your spare time as a hobby to make your job bearable. Sorry. Or for that stinks. Or you can
What does it smell like?
That's pasta. That's like that's the Morrison's like
dirty cheese.
Cheese
and tomato.
Cheese and tomato pasta. It's so good.
Fleas
though, man.
and tomato, mate.
Ooh. But yeah,
fleas.
So it looks like in the little things, the little.
It doesn't look like fleas.
The little fleas on.
It's well good, man. I
Where
love
did
it.
you hear that?
I made it up.
Oh yeah, you didn't hear it from someone else.
No, I made that up. I made that up.
But surely if you like, you need to spend them few hours doing something you actually want to do. Your partner should be supportive of that. Your kids should be supportive of that. If you want to go do that, that's your time to spend doing what you want to do. If you want to relax during that time, that's fine. But then you're making that conscious decision. I say with like YouTubers, when they first take off, people say like I don't know, take any YouTuber that's big now, they're getting like 1 million views on their thing. It's like, you're seeing them after 5-6 years of never taking a holiday. You're seeing them after
when they're young and they can.
Not everyone who's big on YouTube is young though, and they've put in a lot of time. And it's taken them. Depends who you're looking at, man. Like, a lot of people are young, but a lot of people are like mid-30s, 40. I don't know if you class that as young, but I'm saying they haven't.
It kind of is.
They haven't survived without a job up until this point. They've had to work prior to YouTube and at the same time as YouTube.
You
And
don't know, because some people are in better situations with their family.
Are you going to tell me that every single YouTuber that's big now has not had to work alongside?
Not at all.
Because typically the story I've heard of YouTubers, you take like some of the ones I watch where they game, they'll play Magic the Gathering. They've worked for 5-6 years, or their whole life, and they've done YouTube for 5-6 years, and they don't know if it's going to break. They're getting a few hundred views, 1,000 views in their videos, and they put one out every day for 5-6 years. Just constantly, never a holiday, just getting through. And one day, something clicks, an algorithm goes right, your video becomes big, and then you start to build this popular thing, and you never take a break from there, because you spend so long keeping going, because what if I don't make a video tomorrow, and that's the day that, if I upload it...
Yeah, I mean, it's a different sort of conversation than it is to, like, have a person that's, like, 50 and has worked in a trade that is just so sick of it and wants to do something else. It's a different sort of thing. I mean, if you're in your 30s, you grew up with the internet and you have an understanding that this is something you could do, and you're still young enough to be able to like be an entrepreneur and make your own way and do things. By the time you're 50 and technology isn't your strong suit and you're into this, like, there's not much you can do. I mean, I talked to my dad about this, and like the only thing I could think to say is like, well, there are things. It's like if you want to try and make money off your hobbies, if they're artistic, that's really difficult. But you can make a bit of money on the side from doing that. You know, he paints and he's very good at it. You could sell it on eBay and do. I've got stuff up on that wall that I bought from like an eBay artist. Yeah. But like, there will be people that will buy it. Yeah, people buy it. I gave that person like 40 quid for those two or something.
His mum does the same with her paintings.
But does she make a lot of money off it?
Not much.
You do it for yourself though, don't you? You just really enjoy painting, and if I can make anything, it's the same as this. We'll make this. Maybe it'll become something great, but that's not the purpose. So you do it because you enjoy doing it, and if it does something, then great. I understand.
I always encourage my dad. It's going on to a bit of a different point, but like I always encourage my dad to like do more art, because he doesn't really. He's got his like little art shed where he keeps all his stuff, and like
he is good.
He can go up and do it, but like he doesn't really. And it's just because life's too like complicated and stressful. Like if you at the weekend, like there's chores and things you need to get done. And during the week you're working, so like the actual free time amounts to, a handful of hours at the weekend or after work, where all you want to do is just go down the pub and hang out with your mates.
This is the shit thing about life.
But then the point is,
this may be where our naivety of 20-somethings comes into play. Possibly. Well, mine at least, because I'm a student and I don't have to pay council tax, and so like my monetary output is different to used to now.
To me, one of the biggest stresses. I'll let you jump in a second, but like one of the biggest stresses, and it's probably like how like I can understand your dad feeling, is like not only have you got to maintain like job and house and things like that and car, but like just take like financial things. Like I think there's a term for it. It's called like Kafkaesque or something like that.
Kafkaesque.
It's like the idea of just unnecessarily complex things.
Bureaucracy.
Yeah, it's
endless
just
red tape.
It's stupid. Like doing your water bill. Why is there 2 water bills? Why have I got to do an electric bill, a gas bill, a council tax, a rent, a like mortgage, and then I've got to sort my bank accounts and make sure everything's going in and out. I've got to do my car insurance, my MOT, my tax. Have my kids got everything sorted? Has my partner got everything sorted? Have we got enough shopping this week? Like, what about this little thing? Like, I've got Netflix I've got to pay for. I've got Spotify I've got to pay. There's just so much stuff that's like, it's so difficult to remember all of this stuff. And like you said, like your hand view about you do like 40 hours a week or something, normally the average of work. Around that time each day, you're resting, and then you get to the weekend, you got to sort out all this shit. When do you actually have time to sit down and do something?
I think you have to make time, especially if you're going to make art or anything like that. You have to make time because it's an antidote. It's the antidote to your all the rigmarole of your job and like you said your bills and everything you've got.
The mundaneness of life.
Yeah, the mundanity. The art is your escape. It's your you have to make time for that.
There is time, but that's like really, you have to be really conscientious to be able to find that time each week. Them times you're resting around your job, you can't come home and rest. You've got to come home, get doing something productive.
You can plan it in if you need to, I suppose. I mean, is the idea that hobbies have to be fun bullshit? Because it's not necessarily something that just gives to you. Like you have to put something into it. You have to put energy into it and time to get the most rewarding parts of it. Is that true? I mean, I know people that do artsy things. Loads of us do, and like family, and like talk to people about it. And like sometimes you got to set time aside to just do something artistic, even if you're not in the mood. Maybe
that's the key.
Completely agree. Yeah.
Maybe your path to being able to make money off of it, which is a whole other discussion, because a lot of artists don't want to. But like, maybe the path to that is to put effort into making time for something.
Do you think it's the difference between like initial gain and the immediate reward and the long-term reward? Yeah. Because you can sit and paint a painting or something, and that's great. That's going to give me initial satisfaction, immediate satisfaction. But you do that for 1 month. You're going to look back over that month, and you're not going to think, or maybe a year is a better time frame. You're going to look back at that year, and you haven't actually done anything constructive. You haven't put any effort into anything. The immediate day-to-day was fine. But because you haven't actually constructed your time effectively, because when you haven't been in the mood to do art, you've actually not done art, you haven't pushed yourself to do something with it. Does that make sense? It's like you've got to put in some hard work. You can't just off the bat, I'll paint half a painting today, or you can't.
If you're waiting for the muse to strike, then it's never going to.
But then if you want to do that day by day, that's fine. There's nothing. People get it in their head that I have to be trying 100% on my hobby. You can just paint half a painting and leave it. But don't expect after 1 year to feel fulfilled with your hobby because you haven't put any effort into it. So you're not gonna.
It is that balance, and I don't look down on artists that like have no interest in that and they only do things when they want to. Because I'm kind of like that with the thing with like stuff I do. Like, I mean, what's the point really? Like my sister's sort of like that. She's quite good at painting as well and does stuff like that. Whenever I see her, I try and, well, not every time I see her, I try and encourage her to do more, and to try and create things that she can make money on online. Especially as like her day-to-day job is sometimes
you're
kind of
encouraging her to make money and all that, like to put it out there. And
yeah, because she's so dissatisfied with her day-to-day job a lot of the time. I think, like, I don't know. I mean, what's the answer to that? The stuff you enjoy can become really unenjoyable if you try and do it for money. You know.
Mm-hmm. It can.
How can you just shit out paintings?
I don't think will. I think can kill it. Like. That's the difference.
More often
you have
than
to
not,
you have to sell your soul very slightly to be able to do that.
You do, but it's the degree. Like you can do it a little bit.
And I would say you're a fool if you don't. If you get the opportunity to make money from your art and what you're good at, and you say and you have some high idea of no, well, I'm not going to sell it. Well, no,
don't sell out completely. Well, sell out whatever you want, but you can sell out 100%. That's up to you.
Yeah,
but like, you're gonna have to make compromise when it comes to making money on what you want to do. Say your sister wants to be paid to paint. Yeah. Well, then you need to make £60 a day in order to maintain your thing. That is to maintain your house. That is gonna mean painting when you don't want to paint. That is gonna mean selling when you don't want to sell.
Well,
that's gonna mean
here
that.
We're differentiating the hobbyist from the professional. We're differentiating someone who just
The only thing is being paid. That's the difference between them two, isn't it?
kind of. I guess. Yeah.
That is
I guess
the definition between them two,
Yeah,
isn't it?
I
A
guess.
hobby is something you're not paid to do.
I guess, but then I guess you can be a hobbyist and still come at it with the same diligence and dedication as most professionals. You know, you can still work your fucking ass off and hone your skills and maybe never receive a penny. And
I'd ask yourself, why are you not
Well, that's
trying
the
to
case,
make?
isn't it? That's the
if,
case,
if you're
isn't it?
putting all of this effort in, try. Like you, the thing is, you don't know in 5 years where you're going to be. You don't know if I put in
That's the
effort for
thing.
1 year,
you
where
could be
could
a
I be?
brilliant artist, a brilliant musician, brilliant writer. It doesn't mean you're going to get paid for it at all. You know, it's so hard to get paid for art.
Yeah.
So
Are you just
fucking
talking about
hard.
painting? You're talking about all art.
Art in general.
Any art,
it's
I think,
fucking
yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
You take photography as well. Like, how difficult is it?
Well, I think about that a lot. Seeing as I'm
Yeah,
studying it
same,
and
yeah.
do a lot of it, and it's the one thing I enjoy the most. I do a bit of painting and writing sometimes, but like photography is just the most accessible and fun. Especially as someone, I love like technology, so I love just like this camera and like the fucking how it works and like all the technology side. But anyway, I do feel, I mean, I go out taking photographs when I'm not really in the mood, just to keep up the practice of it.
Do you feel better when you get home and you're like, I wasn't in the mood, but I went and did it, and I got something to show from my day?
Yes, but also no. I feel better for having done it, like existentially better, but also if it was complete failure and I didn't get any good pictures, like I feel like shit. Like I don't know, if I went out and it's like a miserable grey day and I couldn't find anything of interest to photograph and I went out for like 2 hours, get back, you know, there's parts of me saying, oh, it's good, you know, I went out, got some exercise, you know, I did something, but like that was,
Shows you care.
But I say
that
that's
was
still
fucking
it.
pointless.
That's still it, man. Even if nothing came of that day, you got shit photos. I think it's fucking news. Chekhov said he worked every day without hope or without despair. I think that's the key. That's
Without
the key.
hope or despair.
Without hope and without despair. You do your work. You do your art. You know, if it's a bad day, it's a bad day. If it's a good day, it's a good day. You have to still, you know, still work.
That's
still-
really interesting. Do you think that having the hope that say you take photos and you put them up every day and try and sell them, do you think having hope that it's going to become good will inevitably just lead to that despair? Because it's difficult to keep that up. Everyone has their breaking point, don't they? Of like, it's been a year, it's been 2, it's been 5.
I think the whole point of that saying is that you just do it.
Just do.
Just get up, do your work.
If you wake up one day, it
Get
doesn't
up
make
and
you
do your
happy,
work,
stop.
Go to sleep. Get up, do your work, go to sleep. I mean, obviously, when the bills are racking up and you know you've got to pay this and pay that.
But that's why you have your job.
That's
don't
why you
That's
have
why
your job,
you
yeah.
have to have your stability on the
Yeah.
side.
And that's what I'm saying. You need to carve out the time for you to do your hobbies, your art, whatever, and do them. You know, hopefully you'll find immediate enjoyment. But even if you don't, keep cracking on without hope, without despair.
Yeah.
I think it's crucial. You need to. These are ways for living. You know, it's in the long term. I don't know.
I think the thing with going out and taking photos though, and then feeling really crap sometimes when you come home because you haven't actually got anything productive. It feels like even more of a waste of a day. I could have just done something like sat at home and gamed or whatever. To me, that's sort of like telling yourself like you actually put some level of pride into your work, because someone less professional than yourself might be really pleased with them photos. They might be like, oh, that's fine, I can put them up. The fact that you come home and you're like, actually, no, that isn't quite good enough. I don't like that. It's being critical in your own work.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
agree,
like,
yeah.
I do
improved.
have a high standard for everything I put out.
But that failure will make tomorrow better because
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, in the case of photographs, it's difficult. When I go out, I just completely lost my train of thought. I'm really like self-conscious for it. So.
It's all that fucking crack you smoke. You need to fucking cut down. Man.
No,
Surrounded by
talking
it.
about how the day when you go out and take a load of shitty photos, it should show you that you actually care about what you're doing.
I go out and take photos mainly because of boredom. That's sort of why I got into it. I mean, main reason being like I love nature, and when I'm out and I see something so fucking beautiful, some scene, I'm like, I just need to. How can I just like, how can I make other people see just what I'm seeing? Because it's so like powerful for me, and that love of photography came from that. because that's how you do it. You know, you can, like, if you know how to set up the camera, you can make photos that look pretty much what you saw, and that's fucking magical, innit? You know, you can show someone like what you see through your eyes.
I think that's the initial artistic instinct that you're saying. Photography,
That's
anything,
beautiful.
music, writing.
But then
you
the
want
practical,
someone else to feel how you
Yeah,
feel.
yeah.
Like you want to telepathy, I guess, in terms of.
I genuinely think,
writing.
like, I've seen loads of Callum's photos. I always see them come up on Facebook. Like, they're just stunning.
Mm.
They're just like, legitimately, man. Like, you look at some of them and, like, I understand what you mean with, like, you're showing someone what you see, how in the way in which you see it. Like, some of the photos you've seen, it's really emphasizing certain points of the photo, and it's like, I don't know, like, you take something. It's really difficult to explain, but, like, you take something like really good weather, with, like, the light shining over the cathedral, and, like, there's the reflection of the water or something like that. I don't know, however you decided to position it, you can kind of get a feeling for how you felt at that moment of time, looking on that, capturing that moment with the heat on you, with the lake on the side, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that can be a detriment as well if you like, you get too, well, because it become too simplistic. For like the first year or two that I was taking photos, it was pretty much just nature. If I got to like post processing, like I would you know, up the saturation and make things like pop as much as possible, which is sort of overkill. It's sort of the equivalent of, like, in writing they call it like purple language, don't they?
prose,
Yeah. Like
Explain.
Filling writing sentences are just, there's too much going on. You're using every single adverb in the book.
Just
Every single
simplify it. It
adjective.
doesn't need to be as complex.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
If it's purple, it's too much. There's too much going on.
Never heard the expression before. I understand what it means.
too descriptive, too bright, too much going on. But like, yeah, you need to simplify. But you can tell more human stories with a single image. You can have something that's a bit more miserable. I quite like just really stark architecture that's just got fucking just right angles and stuff. Maybe like one colour, you know.
Almost like oppressive to me, you know.
Yeah, I love it.
Just sort of.
Yeah, really oppressive architecture that, like, it's all concrete and just stares down at you and just takes up the whole fucking skyline. It's just loads of shapes and that sort of stuff. I don't know what I was talking about, but yeah, I'm just talking about photography now.
Well, I was going to ask James, because Callum's got photography. He does a bit of.
Don't ask me what I'm doing myself.
I was going to ask you.
Nah,
what are your artistic pursuits? You used to act.
Yeah, acting's awful though, isn't it?
You don't like acting anymore? Do you think?
Acting's just like,
what I want.
You're never gonna make it. Like,
but you can enjoy it. My sister does the pantos with her.
Pantos, I love. Like,
She got involved with her. Like, she's sort of a bit out in the country now.
Yeah.
And in her village, like, I don't even know how she found it, but she got involved with the village that puts on pantos. And she loves it.
I'd love to.
You should get back involved in that, mate.
I think you should. Just as something spare time.
You're a panto villain, mate.
Yeah, you are.
No,
cast you straight away. Like, get involved, and it gets you involved in, like, the community as well.
That's the bit I really like.
Which is a good part of it.
Like, everyone wants to be known
It's a
on a world
positive
scale, but, like, just stay within your community. Do the best you can. Everyone does it in their little communities. No, I'd love something like that. If I lived in a small, I live in Ashford, obviously, but if I lived in, like, a small little town like Marden, then yeah, I'd get involved in, like,
I wouldn't get involved in Marden.
No, not Marden. I've been involved in Marden.
I got robbed in Marden.
You got oh yeah.
There's loads of villages around Ashford you could.
But I don't like. If I lived in the village, I'd go do that.
It's a short drive, isn't it?
Yeah, like no, don't get me wrong, I could do, but like at the moment, I'm really putting time into like recording stuff and that, and I'm trying to do stuff there. Like I don't.
Do you do any recording at the moment?
Yeah, I'm doing quite a bit. Like I've recorded like 10, 12 hours over the past few days. Like I've put in a real lot of time. Not on Twitch. I've been doing it on YouTube. Just recording loads, editing it together. I've only put out a few videos so far.
Doing what?
Gaming.
Like gameplay?
Yeah, I'm doing Magic the Gathering at the moment, so like not too interesting to a lot of people.
Tutorials?
No, just playing. People, it's not really for new players. Maybe somewhat, like I do walk through stuff. But I was chatting about it and it was like, I'm not going to be big with it. Like there's too many people out there. The market's so saturated on like people recording Magic the Gathering content. But I don't want to be. I'm doing it.
Just
like,
be yourself.
Yeah, I just like I showed it to one guy at work, and the guy just started laughing. And yeah, it's because he knows me, and he watched a large proportion of it. And he's kind of into magic, but not really. But he said like, it was really entertaining because it was just like it just felt like you talking to me. You're talking quite openly, and you open it by going like, "Wagwan guys, what are we saying?" It's like just the same like.
Cool.
I don't know. It's just
show me that.
You're not really trying to. It can somewhat sometimes sound like you're putting on a persona, but for anyone who knows me, it just that's just you. That's just you being honest with the people you're talking to, and I don't necessarily want to become big from it at all.
It's the same advice you hear from anyone older. Whenever I hear older people talk about older people that are like involved in like new media, like Joe Rogan, I really love Dan Carlin. Like amateur historian guy, does a fantastic podcast. People like that have like they grew up with old media, like being on radio and doing TV shows and things, and then the advice they always give now that they just do podcasts and stuff like. What the fuck are you doing to them?